I think that one big red flag in any kind of relationship, be it romantic, platonic, with your friends, with your family, at work, whatever the case may be, is the lack of reciprocity. When you give too much and don't receive the same from the other, when they give too much and you don't give back in kind, when you let, for instance, shit slide, dare I say, hoping that they will do the same, but they don't. When you let them bulldoze over your boundaries, hoping that if one day you should cross their boundaries, they will remember your leniency and give you the same leniency, but they don't. When you basically find yourself flying solo in your relationship, what I say is that when you're better off being single. Why you shouldn't let anything slide in a relationship is because it boils down to respect. And it is twofold. It is the respect you have for yourself and the respect they have for you, or the lack thereof. When you let something slide, like I said, and do not address it right away, you not only show them that actually they can go a little further next time they will do something untoward to you, something hurtful to you, but you also, by the sheer fact of not addressing it, let it fester. If you do not treat a wound right away, it will get infected. And when it gets infected, it can get gangrenous. And when you have gangrene, sometimes you have to cut off a limb because you waited too long. And in a relationship, when you cut off a limb, basically is when you decide to end the relationship. But the thing is, that relationship didn't have to end. If you had addressed right from the start, listen, you crossed my boundary here. Please don't do it again. Listen, what you said is hurtful. Can you please try to not be that hurtful? You know, things like that. Right away. Then it not only shows that you care for the relationship and you want it to work despite the few hiccups which you addressed right away, but you also have respect for yourself. And that is extremely attractive to the other person, to see that you indeed respect yourself and you require respect from them too, just like you respect them, because again, respect goes both ways, right? But if you do not address that, if you choose not to stand your ground, you know, when they do something untoward to you, when they hurt you, when they cross your boundaries, when they hurt your feelings, for instance, then it gives them a free pass to do it again on a stronger level. And the reason why it is so important to have reciprocity in a relationship, whatever relationship it is that if you do not have reciprocity, meaning if you give too much but you don't receive enough, or you don't receive back in kind, it puts you on a different level of importance in the relationship. In the relationship, they will see themselves as more important than you. And that is because there is no reciprocity. And for a relationship to work in the long run, you have to be on an even keel with the other person. And to be on an even keel is to have the same amount of respect dedicated to them, dedicated to you. The same amount of give and take, if you will, but in the best possible way. The same amount of time invested. If you are there for them, they better be there for you. If they are not there for you, for any kind of reason, for instance, they think that you have it better than they do. Therefore, you don't need as much support because your life situation is better than theirs. That doesn't fly. They still have to be there for you. Even if indeed your material situation, your whatever situation is better than theirs, it doesn't mean that they are in more need of your time than you are of theirs. Again, it has to be on the same level every single time. The difference is, I think, with money. If you made friends with someone who has way more money than you or way less money than you, then it stands to reason that if the person who has, for instance, more money than the other, give them a gift that is very expensive, that they cannot pay back in kind, if you will, then the person who has more money has to understand that as far as the 3D material stuff, reciprocity is not possible. But that reciprocity can be gave back from the other person through a different medium. They can give more time, for instance, or stuff like that. But what I don't want people to think is that if you have more money, then you can give them, very expensive gifts and you don't have to be there for them. No, that doesn't apply either. But there is always a way to find an equivalence in reciprocity. And it is up to both parties in a relationship to find what that equivalence is. But the minute there is an imbalance in a relationship, aka a lack of reciprocity, whatever the case may be, is for me the minute that the relationship is in jeopardy. Because the minute you do not address, as I said before, a problem, the problem will fester and get bigger. To such an extent that when it gets too big and you finally address it, the relationship will be hurt forever. Whereas if you had tackled the issue, tackled the problem right away, then it might have hurt on the moment, it might have been unpleasant in the moment, but at least you did it. And it not only shows that you have respect for yourself, but it shows to the other person that you really want this relationship to work. And so just because you want it to work doesn't mean that you will accept, any kind of disrespect of lack of reciprocity for them, but at least you are willing to make it work and to address the issue when there is an issue. And it goes both ways. If you do something that is bad, if you hurt the other person and stuff, it behooves them to tell you right away, and it behooves you to understand it, and don't take it personal. Don't take it as an offense, but take it as they are trying to make it work because they want to make this relationship work. And the reciprocity in a relationship is something that goes along with what I mentioned in a video of mine, which was the importance of unconditional love in any kind of relationship, that if the other person cannot be genuinely happy for you, then it is a telltale sign that they are not there for you and they are there for themselves only. If there is no reciprocity in a relationship, if there is no gratitude, if there is no unconditional love or whatever, then the relationship is, I think, doomed right from the start. You cannot have a genuine, honest, beautiful relationship with someone if there is no reciprocity or an attempt at reciprocity. If you are always the giver and you always give, and the moment you need the other person's support, or you need the other persons to give you something, and they are not there for you, and they refuse to give it to you, then I want to say that the onus of the failure is on you. You should have seen it right from the start. Because when there is no reciprocity in a relationship, usually it shows up right from the beginning of said relationship. You can tell right away, okay, this person is not a giver. This person is a taker. So what do you do then? Do you still keep on giving, knowing you will never receive anything? Have a little respect for yourself. And even if you want sometimes the relationship to work, but you realize that this lack of reciprocity is unsolvable, then do the right thing and walk away. Like I said, and I will end on this, if you are flying solo in a relationship, then I think you are better off single.